Hey there, welcome back. Okay, so new day, much more awake, and we're ready to start another round here. And I think we can start, going a little bit quicker. There is a warband, so that actually is going to slow us down. So a little bit of both is happening here, and we're going to get to see what happens in a war column phase here. So step one. Discard the card from the war event box. Okay, that's if there was one. If there's no war column, terminate this procedure. So we're going to draw a card from the war deck, consult the war column movement portion, and move towards the nearest rancheria. Stop in a space with an allied tribe, band, or rancheria. If already in the same space, it does not move. Colonial war, enemy war columns never move across dashed lines. North war columns can. Pieces in Palo Duro are invisible to the war columns, but not the north. If no rancheria is visible, they move towards the nearest band. And if no band is visible, their strength is reduced by 1. Okay, it seems like a lot, but it's just all conditional rules for the war band. And we can see 2 rancherias, so in fact, it's only 1 space away from one of the rancherias, so this could be really bad news for us. So we actually got really lucky, because here's the movement section, and so it says the east moves 1 and the west moves 2. The warband, if you remember, is from the north. It's that gray token right there. And so the north does not move. So therefore, even though he was 1 space away from our rancheria, he's not going to attack us. Okay, I don't remember all the battle rules per se, but if the part I do remember is, oh, excuse me, I have to yawn. That's what I get for staying up late. The part I do remember is if they make it to a rancheria, of course, there's a chance that if we lose the battle, they're going to destroy the rancheria. But more importantly, we will lose military points, which of course is one of the things we don't want to lose. If we can somehow meet it in the field of battle away from the rancheria, I think the battle is actually harder to win, but we can avoid spending the military points. So it's a 6 or 1/2 thing. So all you do is pay attention to this part. You don't do the bottom part. Okay, so I'm going to put the card there, and then let's keep going. So we're going to roll 1 die for each in-play war column. And let's zoom in here. If the die result is less than the war column strength, reduce it by 1. And I rolled a 3, which is not less than the strength, so no worries there. Now we draw another card from the war deck, and it gets placed face up in the war event box, and then execute any when revealed effect. So I'm going to grab the whole deck here. So what we did was we grabbed this card, and like I told you, we only focused on this. This card already goes away. I'm just going to put it at the bottom of the deck, or maybe I'll put it face up as a reminder we need to shuffle. And then we draw the next card, and we only deal with any when revealed effect. But there is no when revealed. And see, by the way, if this is the one we would have drawn, then he would have moved and we would have been in a different situation. Now, those battles, so it says in each war space with a band or allied tribe, a player must fight a battle. So the good news is he's not where we're at. So, and what I'm doing is I'm reading this down here. I'm not reading the card. In each war space which contains a rancheria, if there's 0 bands, we lose a military point and the rancheria is destroyed. If there is 1 or more bands, we can lose a military point and fight a battle, or we lose 2 military points and lose all captives. Our war column strength, their war column strength is reduced by 1. And if it's 0, the war ends. Otherwise, the war column gets placed on an enemy space or north on the nearest non-allied tribe. So none of that's happening because it's not on a rancheria space. But this now impacts the war. So there's a countermeasure action. Draw them off. After a band is marked as finished in a space adjacent to a war space, the war space is where the war band is, move the war column into that band space, not across dashed lines, and place the band into the nearest rancheria. So basically, if you end your turn next to a war space, they're basically going to move into your space, and then you get kicked back into a rancheria resource box. It's actually a pretty cool way to run out of movement points and still get back to the rancheria. Because you don't lose any of your resources or anything. You just get basically auto-teleported home. It's also a pretty interesting way to lure a warband away from you, because you can keep ending your movement points away from your rancheria, and then you're basically sucking them further and further away. So you can exploit this in some pretty interesting ways. But that is now in effect until this card is removed. And that won't be removed until at minimum next turn. Okay? So that's what the new thing is that we kept skipping. So now we're in the operations phase, and we get to select take action, culture, planning, or passage of time. And so as much as I would love to, go out and kill him or defend the rancheria, there is something far more important we need to do. We need to do a culture action. If we don't do a culture action, we're going to lose this game. Losing a rancheria doesn't necessarily mean we're going to lose the game. So the culture action is simple. Like I said, increase by 1 for every territory that has a rancheria, increase by 1 more for every Comanche-controlled territory, and then we're going to roll a die or move the operations marker. So we're going to get 3 culture points. 1, 2, 3. We're finally off the schneid. Okay, so 1 for that ranch area, 1 for this one, and then 1 because we control Upper Arkansas. And we don't have to roll a die because our operation marker is here, so it's just going to move down 1 space. Our turn is over. So now we go to cleanup. We're going to roll a die for each rancheria with finished bands. We have none. Then we're going to draw a counter, and then they're going to get to do their actions. So we draw a counter, and we get 4 enemy APs. So they actually are going to get to do some actions. So let's resolve that. I roll a die. I get a 3. This is the west. So west is activating. Then I roll again. I get a 3. And we come here, and 1, 2, 3. This flips over to war. Now, just so you know, war is actually happening this time. There is no card preventing that. So we're going to spend the 4 APs, and the war is going to trigger. And I'm just going to proactively move everything up because we know that's what's going to happen. And then let's figure out what the war step does. Okay, so if the active enemy already has a war column in a map, terminate the procedure. Otherwise, perform 3.1 steps 1 and 2 for active enemy's war column. So we're going to go into Spain here, and we have to find a war column with a 4 strength, because that was how many APs oh, it's a yellow one. I'm sorry, not a green one. So there's one with 4 strength. So he's coming out. And just remember, this -2 is a die roll modifier that it gets applied to us. So they're going to have a huge advantage on us. They're subtracting 2 from our die rolls. So they're a lot tougher. So then it's going to appear, actually along with the war token, it's going to appear right there. And so whenever West has to move, he will be moving. And yes, he's at war with us. So he'll be coming around the mountain when she comes, right after us. If the active enemy square enemy space is a peace space, remove the peace counter and place it on the bottommost, then terminate the procedure. Now what's interesting is the west square enemy space is treated as, for trade purposes, never mind. Place the war instruction into the space along with the strength counter equal to the AP cost of the war instruction plus the number of active enemy settlements in play. Oh, here we go. Plus any modifiers caused by in-play cards. So actually, he's got a settlement, so he's going to have a 5 strength. So let's go find a 5. So a 5 strength is coming out for him. And the reason is he has a settlement here, so that added +1. So 5 strength, and that's it. And then he does have 1 action point over here, but there's no ability to do the culture step, which of course is going to hurt us. So now we keep going with their turn, and this is the Santa Fe nonsense. We're done. So we move back to War Column phase, and once again, we're going to draw a card. And we may get attacked here. So this is going to happen. We're going to flip, and there you can see the north is moving, so they are going to attack us. And then this is going to go away, and then this card, when revealed, decrease strength of highest strength war column by -2. If greater than 1 war column tied for highest strength, apply this event to each of them. So that's actually a really awesome one for us, but let's do one thing at a time. The first thing, like I said, they're moving into our Rancheria space, the north is. The west was not moving. If you remember, they weren't drawn. But then the actual event is reducing this by 2. So he's going to go from a 5 down to, well, that's a Mexican 3. There's got to be a Spanish 3 in here. There we go. To a 3. So he's a little wimpier. All right. So we got a situation now where he's actually on our space. So in each war space, which contains a rancheria, we do have a band. We can spend a military point and fight a battle, or lose 2 military points and just lose our captives, and their column strength gets reduced by 1. And if it's a 0, the war ends. Okay, let's try the battle. I don't know if I'm going to win or what my odds are, but we're going to try a battle. So we're going to reduce the military points by 1, and we're going to have to do a battle, which I believe is right here. Battle resolution. So we got a whole bunch of stuff to do here. So we have to determine the Comanche unit. Okay, if the battle takes place in a space containing a rancheria, the player chooses which band in the resource box is the Comanche unit. The Comanche unit may take possession of any unpossessed resource and or bob counters in the rancheria's resource box. So we're going to use our 2 strength, right? He's the only guy that's there. We're going to use Bob. And I think we're going to use horses because I think horses actually help us. I can't remember. But we're going to grab the horses. We're going to grab Bob. And I have a food there that I will retroactively grab if we realize it was going to help us. But for now, I don't think it does. So that's our situation. We got these guys. I'm going to just lay them right here for now. And then we're going up against this guy here. That's our boxing matchup. So we're both 2 strength. Okay, if the battle takes place in a space containing a band, that band is the Comanche unit. If the battle takes place where there's an allied tribe, the allied tribe is the Comanche unit. So it's just, we got that step 1 covered. If the Comanche unit spends a gun counter, we get to roll 2 dice and select the highest one. I didn't bring any guns with me. The guns are in the other ranch area, so it could be my mistake, but we'll find out. I went through all these troubles to get guns and I'm not using them. Okay, if there's no guns, we're going to roll 1 die and then we have to apply modifiers. So let's just roll the die first. And we wanted a high number, so a 2 sucks. Okay, so then we get to add our band strength, which is 2. So that's up to a 4. Plus 2 if the Comanche unit is an allied tribe, not going to happen. Plus question mark if there's any in-play card the player wishes to use, not happening. Plus 1 if the band fighting contains Bob. And so we're up to a 5. -1 if it's on the finish side, and a battle modifier on the war column strength counter, which is 0. So we made it up to 5, which means we're going to lose. If the unmodified die roll is 6, or a modified result is greater than 6, and not a 1. So if I would have rolled a 1, it's an instant loss. So it's like a critical miss. The Comanche unit wins the battle. If it's a 1 or we're less than 6, then the enemy wins. Okay? So if the Comanche unit would have won, the war column strength is reduced by 1. And if it's 0, the battle ends. If the enemy wins, the Comanche unit is an allied tribe. If the Comanche unit is a band outside, band inside, reduce its strength by 1. If it's reduced to 0, remove the band and all resource counters to stock, and the Bob counter dies, and another band in the Rancheria, we can keep continuing the battle, basically. So all is not lost, although it is in dire straits. Our 2 now becomes a 1. And we're continuing the battle, and it looks like our horses actually don't help us any here. Maybe it would have if we had a different culture card. Now here's actually where the horsemanship does help. +1 battle DRM for Comanche bands in possession of horses. That's what I was thinking of. So if I would have had this card, I would have gotten +1 to my die roll for having horses, and I would have gotten the 6, and I actually would have won that last roll. So that's a big difference. So we're going to roll again, and let's get better than a 2 this time. There we go. We got a 4. And let me zoom out a little so you can see better. Okay, so this is going to be different. We have a 4 plus a 1 is 5, but then Bob makes it 6. So we lost a strength that last time, so it actually made it harder for us, but Bob won it for us. So this 2 gets reduced to a 1. But then the battle keeps going. I mean, it's going to fight until somebody loses. So now we got to roll again, and we got to get better than a 3. Actually, we need a 4, don't we? So, oh, it's on its side. That is an auto loss. Oh, come on. So we just did awful. All right, so the unit dies, and so does the horses, and so does Bob. So Bob dies, and that goes to 0. All kinds of bad stuff is happening now. Give me a second. So now we got to do Rancheria destroyed, 2.5.3, and then the battle ends. So Rancheria being destroyed actually might not be covered in the player aid. Yeah, I don't think it is. So we got to get out the rule book. All I can tell you is this is just bad all around. The Rancheria is destroyed. So all that work we just did to create a Rancheria, it's already destroyed by one single warband. I thought it got a boost because we were in the camp. Let me read again. Yeah, it gets a boost because it has a Bob counter. So that decision not to take the horsemanship actually backfired against us big time. I'm just pulling up the rules and then I'll show you. So here we go, Rancheria Destruction. This was a part of the rules I was hoping not to ever have to show you. Step 1, all band and resource counters in Rancheria's resource box are returned to stock. Success counters get back into the draw cup. The Rancheria's Bob is considered killed, regardless of where he is on the map. The player loses 2 military points. Oh my gosh. Remove the Rancheria counter to the resource box. All right, this is awful because look at what's going to happen. We lose 1 military point and now we need to lose another, so that means we lose 2 culture points. Oof. Oof. That was as bad as it gets. And So yeah, I mean, the Rancheria is destroyed. So we don't have a Rancheria on the board anymore, and these units just disappear. We're back to square one. So that wasn't fun. Then what makes matters worse is this warband is still active, and it does go back to the nearest camp, which we're going to say is this one. There was a camp here it could have gone to, but it's just as far away to go back to the original one. So that warband is still running around trying to cause a problem. And then we have a warband over here that's actually going to start marching towards us to cause problems as well. So not good. We're definitely getting crunched. So even though we were satisfying the victory condition, we're not satisfying it anymore. And we're going to need to get another guy out there and basically park him to get another Rancheria built in the future. So let's see what we can do about that. Sorry, I'm just fixing some fallen counters. And so yeah, that stinks. And that's how the game goes. So the AI gets the punch back. All right, so now we're back to, okay, we finished this part, so now we get to do our steps. Now, I guess you could have argued, hey, Jeff, you could have not done the culture step, maybe gone out and attacked him proactively. All those things are true. The problem is that the West did activate. They just didn't have enough action points. And I did the right thing. But the problem is now I need to do more culture steps. Because look, I'm precariously close to losing. In fact, I'm pretty sure I am going to lose this game. So right now, if I did a culture step, I'm only going to get 2 culture points instead of 1, because I no longer have a Rancheria in Lower Arkansas. So I'm getting pinched quite hard. And so what do? Do I spend another whole turn just generating culture again? It seems like that is something you're going to be doing a lot, and it just feels so wasteful. But I think it is what I have to do right now. As much as I would love to do actions and do raids and all that other stuff, I think I have to get the culture back up. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do another culture action. So our culture is only going to go up by 2 this time, but it brings us back to 3. And that's it. We don't get to do anything else. And this marker moves down 1. And now we're going to draw from the cup to see if the enemy is going to get to do anything. And this time it's a success. The enemy does have 1 action point, which is not enough to execute a action. However, what you do in this situation is you still go through the process. So we're going to roll and see who would have activated. It's a 6, so that would be the south. And then we're going to roll a 2, and then this one does flip over. So now we go to do the action point check, and this one costs 4, and we don't have 4, so it doesn't actually execute the action. But you still need to do your die roll because these things flip. You have to go through that process. So as long as they have at least 1 action point, you do that. If they have 0, then you don't. So we did that, and no actual action occurs. So, I mean, the good news about doing a culture thing is we're not drawing chits to give them action points, so it's not like the enemy's doing much during those turns. When we're out raiding and causing a muck, they get all kinds of action points, probably because we're pissing them off. And, they're getting angry too. And so there's always a backlash to our actions. So if we're just improving our culture, then they don't backlash as much. It's pretty darn cool and thematic in a way. When the Indians behaved, they weren't being killed. Geez, imagine that. That still applies to a lot of situation in today's world as well. I'm not going to get political any more than that. Okay. So let's go back to the beginning, the war column phase. So now war columns are happening again. And the cool thing is this war card actually helped us the last time. So now we're going to draw a card. And here you can see the north is going to move and the west is going to move. Both of them are going to move. So I'm not going to just jump ahead like I did last time. The north will move. They're heading towards our other rancheria. And then this one over here to the left, the west also moves. And let me just check. Is it just war with us or is it with anybody? Yeah, they move towards us because they're at war with us. Okay, so this 3 is going to move up to that settlement, like so. And I want to just check one other thing. No, I did it right. The thing I was checking is I wasn't sure if he was supposed to start in their settlement. They always start in their square space. That was what I was checking. Okay, so we did that correctly. All right, so they did the move, and now we're going to reveal the next card. So this is where we ignore the movement. The war event. When revealed, higher stakes. At the end of this turn's operation cleanup phase, if there is at least one war column in play, I lose a military point. If there are 0 in play, we gain a military point. Oh my gosh. Well, that's not good because our military points are 0. And so we do have incentive. It would be really nice to get... Okay, well, we're going to do some actions then. And I think we're going to go out and attack some war bands. What do you think? I think the answer is yes, Bob the Builder. Yes, we will. All right, so we're going to do this, and that.